Welcome back to the History Shelf, everybody. My name is Peg, and I am your host for another episode of New History on the Horizon. This is episode number 5. We have got a lot of books here, and most of them are available now. So I just want to get this video out there for y'all in case you want to pick up something between now and New Year's, or even after New Year's, because you know what? You read all year long, don't you? I know I do. Again, thanks for being patient, as I had a pretty challenging December health-wise, but I am on the road to recovery. I'm feeling better. I hope I sound better, and I hope I look better. Anyway, guys, this is New History on the Horizon, my new series where I show you the most recent new releases and upcoming releases of history titles that I think you all should know about. So, where do we start? I know where I'm going to start because I was sent this book from Empress Publishing, which is a theological, religious kind of publisher of Christian books based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I know my friend Johnny Keene. He reads a lot of books from Empress Publishing. And I do too. I've got a pretty large library of their titles. They sent me this book, and I about fell out of my chair because I wasn't aware of this. And it's by one of my favorite Civil War authors or historians. And my friend Bill Rutenberg. Bill, you're going to want to know about this book. Apparently, I've got a finished copy. I think this is brand new. This is out right now. Let me get my pub sheet for this so I can hold it up. But you guys, this is available, and I think you should know it. And in fact, it just came out November 29th. Okay. Wow. Are you ready for this? It's a new Lincoln book. Oh my gosh. Bill, hold on to your chair. We have Abraham Lincoln, Redeemer President, second edition, updated and revised with a new preface. And this is by Alan C. Gelzo. I don't think I even read the first edition. So this is, again, second edition, Empress Publishing. Just came out. So what do we have here? And this is part of their series, the Empress Publishing does. Part of their series called Library of Religious Biography. Apologize for the light, but I'm just going to try to get the glare off of there. Okay. It says here, the story of Abraham Lincoln's faith and intellectual life, updated and revised with a new preface from the 3-time winner of the Lincoln Prize and best-selling Civil War era historian Alan Gelzo. Gelzo's peerless account of America's most celebrated president explores the ideas in Lincoln's life, treating him as a serious thinker, deeply involved in the 19th century debates over politics, religion, and culture. Through masterful and original scholarly work, Gelzo relates the outward events of Lincoln's life to his inner spiritual struggles and sets them both against the intellectual backdrop of his age. There we go. The 16th president emerges as a creative, yet profoundly paradoxical man, possessed of deep moral and religious character, yet without adherence to organized religion, which can exist. Those two are not mutually, exclusive items. I mean, well, I don't want to talk about myself. Since it's, I'm just going to say, I'm not a part of a church, but you can still be deeply moral and religious without being in the pew every Sunday. But that's just my take. Anyway, since its original publication in 1999, Abraham Lincoln, Redeemer President, has garnered numerous accolades, not least the prestigious Lincoln Prize. After writing several other acclaimed studies of Lincoln and other aspects of Civil War era history, Gelzo returns to update this important early work for a second edition. And a new preface addresses the developments in Lincoln scholarship in the years since the book's original publication and offers Gelzo's fascinating retrospective look at the unusual path he took to becoming a Lincoln scholar. So, oh my gosh, when I saw this, I was like, thank you, Empress. Someone there knows and watches this channel. They understand that I, not only do I cover theology, and I have shown their books before, but I am a Civil War buff, and I do enjoy a good Lincoln read. And I know my friend Bill Rutenberg at the Rutenberg Library would love to get a copy of this. So, beautiful end papers here. It's about 532 pages. So look at this. I've just got like a brand new Lincoln biography to read in 2023 already, lined up. So everybody, put this book on your radar. All right. All right, next book. Let's kind of stay within the realm of possibilities here. in the general area. This book is already out right now. I think it just came out not too long ago, December 13th. Okay. So we're still within the new history on the horizon zone. And I think I have read Kevin Gutzman before. He's a great writer. Now we're moving to Founding Fathers Age, right? Brand new book, The Jeffersonians. The Visionary Presidencies of Jefferson, Madison, and Monroe by Kevin R.C. Gutzman, who wrote Thomas Jefferson, Revolutionary, and he also did a biography on James Madison. It says here, this press release is funny. It says, did you know that before the consecutive two-term administrations of Presidents Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama, there had only been one other trio of its type: Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and James Monroe. From the best-selling author, Gutzman, here comes a complete chronicle of the men known as the Virginia dynasty, who served as president from 1801 to 1825 and implemented the foreign policy, domestic, and constitutional agenda of the radical wing of the American Revolution, setting guideposts for later American liberals to follow. The three close political allies were tightly related. Jefferson and Madison were the closest of friends, and Monroe was Jefferson's former law student. Their achievements were many, including the founding of the opposition Republican Party in the 1790s, the Louisiana Purchase, and the call upon Congress in 1806 to use its constitutional power to ban slave imports beginning on January 1st, 1808. Of course, not everything the Virginia dynasty undertook was a success. Its chief failure might have been the ineptly planned and led War of 1812. In general, however, when Monroe rode off into the sunset in 1825, his passing and the end of the Virginia dynasty were much lamented. Kevin R.C. Gutzman's new book details a time in America when three presidents worked toward common goals to strengthen our republic in a way we rarely see in American politics today, or not even rarely, that we ever see. Fantastic. So this is brand new. This is from St. Martin's Press. And gosh, I can't wait to dig in. So many great books out there, guys. Add that to your list. Okay. Now, I asked for a review copy of this book. It's been out for a little bit, but I wanted to include it in this video just because I don't know, it just appeals to me, and I want to share it with you all because I've been watching Johnny Keene. He's currently still reading this book, but I can't wait to read it because I recently read a book about Jena 1800, and it kind of ties into this big time, and I think the same people will be in this book. But this is Magnificent Rebels, The First Romantics and the Invention of the Self by Andrea Wolfe. I've just been dying. This is by Knopf Publishing. Been dying to dig into this. It says here, when did we become as self-centered as we are today? At what point did we expect to have the right to determine our own lives? When did we first ask the question, how can I be free? And when did we begin to see ourselves as being part of nature? In the 1790s, a group of playwrights, poets, and writers in Jena, a quiet university town in Germany, made the self central to their way of thinking, their writing, and their lives. This brilliant circle included the famous poets, Goethe, Schiller, and Novalis, the visionary philosophers Fichte, Schelling, and Hegel, the contentious Schlegel brothers, and in a wonderful cameo, the naturalist Alexander von Humboldt. At their center was the formidable Caroline Schlegel, who sparked many of their dazzling conversations about the self, nature, identity, and freedom. Their collaboration launched Romanticism onto the world stage, inspiring some of the greatest poets, novelists, and thinkers across the world. Their emphasis on individual experience, their description of nature as a living organism, and their insistence on the unity of humankind and nature informed the writings of Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Henry David Thoreau, and Ralph Waldo Emerson, among many others. In the young friends' exuberant lives, we find epic quarrels, passionate love affairs, heartbreaking grief, and above all, radical ideas about the creative power of the self, the aspirations of art and science, about nature, and the true meaning of freedom. French revolutionaries may have changed the political landscape of Europe, but these young romantics incited a revolution of the mind that shaped our modern world. So that's just there's more on that, but I wanted to share that with you. This is a beautifully big, deep, generously researched book. Wonderful notes for further reading. And I had, it's going to be in a book haul here. I'm doing a book haul very soon where I picked up the hardcover of the book I reviewed for Shelf Awareness, and it was called Jena 1800, and it includes these romantics, people that I just mentioned here. And I really dug it. I've never really gotten into studying the romantics before, but this one was really interesting, and so I really wanted to follow up on that. And The Magnificent Rebels did come out this year, so technically we're still in the wheelhouse there. All right, so moving back on. We are pushing on. Oh, is this a new book from... I might have to share that for... Well, the dogs are barking. Santa must have forgotten to drop off something yesterday. 1 second. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Had someone at the door. Actually, it was my sister dropping off Christmas cookies. We weren't able to get together on Christmas Eve. So I got Christmas cookies, and I left my glasses downstairs, but we're going to truck on without my glasses. Let's see here. Next book. I thought this one sounded really intriguing because, you know me, I love things that are a little off the wall. Now, this came out in October, so I'm a little bit late in showing this book to you guys. But for you fans of George Washington, this book is from Johns Hopkins University Press. And tell me what you think of this title, First Among Men, George Washington and the Myth of American Masculinity, by Maurizio Valsagna. It's about yay thick. From Johns Hopkins Press. So what do we have here? What could this book possibly be about? George Washington, hero of the French and Indian War, commander-in-chief of the Continental Army, and first president of the United States, died on December 14th, 1799. The myth-making began immediately thereafter, and the Washington mythos crafted after his death remains largely intact. But what do we really know about Washington? Washington is frequently portrayed by his biographers as America at its unflinching best. Tall, shrewd, determined, resilient, stalwart, and tremendously effective in action. But this aggressive and muscular version of Washington is largely a creation of the 19th century. 18th century ideals of upper-class masculinity would have preferred a man with refined aesthetic tastes, graceful and elegant movements, and the ability and willingness to clearly articulate his emotions. At the same time, these 18th century men subjected themselves to intense hardship and inflicted incredible amounts of violence on each other, their families, their neighbors, and the people they enslaved. In First Among Men, Valsagna considers Washington's complexity and apparent contradictions in three main areas: his physical life, often bloody, cold, injured, muddy, or otherwise unpleasant; his emotional world, sentimental, loving, and affectionate; and his social persona, carefully constructed and maintained. In each, he notes, the reality diverges from the legend quite drastically. Ultimately, Valsagna challenges readers to reconsider what they think they know about Washington. All right, this sounds fantastic. It says this book is aided by new research documents in objects that have recently come to light. So I am intrigued as all get out about this one. This is out now. You can get this now at any bookseller near you, or ask your library to order it. Okay. Next book, Princeton University Press. Me love some Princeton University Press books. This book. I want to read this book in conjunction with a book I'm trying to get my hands on, which is a massive new biography of J. Edgar Hoover. But this one I find also very scintillating, because it kind of takes a certain angle on the topic of J. Edgar Hoover. This is called The Gospel of J. Edgar Hoover, How the FBI Aided and Abetted the Rise of White Christian Nationalism by Lerone A. Martin. Put out by Princeton University Press, as I said. So what do we got here? It says here, the shocking untold story of how the FBI partnered with white evangelicals to champion a vision as a white Christian nation. Lerone Martin draws on thousands of newly declassified FBI documents and memos to describe how, under Hoover's leadership, FBI agents attended spiritual retreats and worship services, creating an FBI religious culture that fashioned G-men into soldiers and ministers of Christian America. Martin shows how prominent figures such as Billy Graham, Fulton Sheen, and countless ministers from across the country partnered with the FBI and laundered bureau intel in their sermons while the faithful crowned Hoover the adjudicator of true evangelical faith and allegiance. These partnerships not only solidified the political norms of modern white evangelicalism, they also contributed to the political rise of white Christian nationalism, establishing religion and race as the bedrock of the modern national security state and setting the terms for today's domestic terrorism debates. On a Sunday morning in 1966, a group of white evangelicals dedicated a stained glass window to J. Edgar Hoover. The FBI director was not an evangelical, but his Christian admirers anointed him as their political champion, believing he would lead America back to God. The Gospel of J. Edgar Hoover reveals how Hoover and his FBI teamed up with leading white evangelicals and Catholics to bring about a white Christian America by any means necessary. Oh. Taking readers from the pulpits and pews of small-town America to the Oval Office and from the grassroots to denominational boardrooms, the Gospel of J. Edgar Hoover completely transforms how we understand the FBI, white evangelicalism, and our nation's entangled history of religion and politics. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Again, there's a massive new biography on J. Edgar Hoover that's out right now. I was going to use one of my credits to get it for at my history book club, but apparently the price is so steep on this new biography that it's like $36.99 that my credit only goes up to $35. So I'm like, well, then what's the point of having a credit if I can't use it on this book? Oh, well, I have to wait for the price to go down. But anyway, Princeton University Press, this one's out. I'd like to kind of read this in conjunction with the biography when that is available to me. Okay, so I thought this book looked interesting. I had a publisher reach out and say, would you like to take a look? And I never turn it down, unless it's about basket weaving, and then I might take a hard pass. This is from Basic Books. Let's see if I got the pub sheet. I think they just sent it. It's in my email. But anyway, this is out right now. You can grab this one. This is Myth America. Historians take on the biggest legends and lies about our past, and it's edited by Kevin Cruz and Julian Zelizer. And, it's put out by Basic Books, so let's see, what does it say here? The United States is in the grip of a crisis of bad history. Distortions of the past promoted by partisan pundits and politicians have led many Americans to believe in fiction over facts, making constructive dialogue impossible and imperiling our democracy. In recent years, right-wing demagogues have even misused the past to fan the flames of white resentment and unravel the nation's social safety net. The stakes are high. In Myth America, Cruz and Zelizer assemble an all-star team of their fellow historians to push back against this misinformation by setting the record straight. These contributors debunk narratives that portray the New Deal and Great Society as failures, the quote-unquote Reagan Revolution as a resounding success, immigrants as hostile invaders, and feminists as anti-family warriors, among numerous other partisan lies and misconceptions. Based on a firm foundation of historical scholarship, their work revitalizes our understanding of American history and brings a true picture of the past to life for the present. Myth America replaces myths with research and reality. It's essential reading amid today's heated debates about our nation's past. Okay, well, let me just say this. Just from the few examples that they've just shown in here, makes me think this is a partisan book. but for the left, because it doesn't show anything about maybe it doesn't debunk anything that would, shine a better light on, like, say, conservative principles. This is all, so far, this sounds like a partisan book. Let me take a look at the table of contents. I wouldn't mind if it was balanced out, maybe call out the lies that the left has told about the right as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, keep it balanced. America First, the border, American socialism. All right, I mean, I'll take a look, but there's only one topic in here that they have an opportunity to say was false, but I don't know if they will. All right. I don't think so. Okay. Well, Myth America. The left's take. All right. Basic books. Just want objectivity, people. Objectivity. Okay. Goes both ways. Let's see here. Now, this is a brand new book that's out. I purchased it. I ordered it. There was a 3 for 2 sale on Amazon, and buy 3 for the price of 2. This book, I didn't even realize it was out. I think it came out probably in November, but I thought I'd share it with you guys. This is a big doorstopper of a book. Probably, hopefully, maybe the definitive history on it. We'll see. We'll see. I need to start digging in. But this is Watergate, A New History by Garrett M. Graff. Oh, and he wrote The Only Plane in the Sky. I think I did read that one. This is from Avid Reader Press. Nice big. It's a heavy book. Close to almost 800 pages. It says here, in the early hours of June 17th, 1972, that was a week before I was born, a security guard named Frank Wills enters 6 words into the logbook of the Watergate office complex that will change the course of history. And the 6 words are, 1:47 a.m., found tape on doors, call police. Subsequent arrests of 5 men seeking to bug and burgle the Democratic National Committee offices, 3 of them Cuban exiles, 2 of them former intelligence operatives, quickly unravels a web of scandal that ultimately ends a presidency and forever alters views of moral authority and leadership. Watergate, as the event is called, becomes a shorthand for corruption, deceit, and unanswered questions. Now award-winning journalist and best-selling author Garrett M. Graff explores the full scope of this unprecedented moment from start to finish in the first comprehensive single-volume account in decades. The story begins in 1971 with the publication of thousands of military and government documents known as the Pentagon Papers, which revealed dishonesty about the decades-long American presence in Vietnam and spark public outrage. Furious that the leak might expose his administration's own duplicity during a crucial re-election season, President Richard Nixon gathers his closest advisors and gives them implicit instructions: win by any means necessary. Within a few months, an unsteady line of political dominoes are positioned, from the creation of a series of covert operations codenamed Gemstone, to campaign trail dirty tricks, possible hostage situations, and questionable fundraising efforts, much of it caught on the White House's own taping system. One by one they fall until the thwarted June burglary attracts the attention of intrepid journalists, congressional investigators, and embattled intelligence officers, one of whom will spend decades concealing his identity behind the alias Deep Throat. As each faction slowly begins to uncover the truth, a conspiracy deeper and more corrupt than anyone thought possible emerges, and the nation is thrown into a state of crisis as its government and its leader unravels. Using newly public documents, transcripts, and revelations, Graff recounts every twist with remarkable detail and page-turning drama, bringing readers into the backrooms of Washington, chaotic daily newsrooms, crowded Senate hearings, and even the Oval Office itself, during one of the darkest chapters in American history. Fantastic. And here is our author, Mr. Graff. Avid Reader Press, which is an imprint of Simon & Schuster, but a nice, big, beefy history on Watergate. I've always been intrigued by Watergate. I've read books on Nixon and Watergate and, loved all the president's men. So this was a no-brainer for me. What else can I show you? We've got a couple more here. Hang on. One moment. Okay. So I thought I'd wind up this new History on the Horizon video with books that are actually on the horizon. Yes. All right, let's start with, trying to go with date of publication, but okay. So this book is from Random House. It's coming out in February, at the end of February, so keep this on your radar if you're interested in archaeology or Egyptology or anything like that. I got this. This is an advanced review copy they sent me. And this is Empress of the Nile, the daredevil archaeologist who saved Egypt's ancient temples from destruction, by Lynn Olson, who is a name I very much know. I think she wrote a wonderful book on These Angry Days, I think it was called. It was about FDR and what's his face? Charles Lindbergh. But anyway, yeah, Lynn Olson, she's a great historian. The daredevil archaeologist who saved Egypt's ancient temples from destruction comes out February 28th. Did you not give me the press sheet? I've got to read something. Oh, here we are. It's in the front of the book. Let me just read this to you. In the 1960s, the world's attention was focused on a nail-biting race against time. 50 countries contributed nearly $1 billion to save a dozen ancient Egyptian temples built during the height of the pharaoh's rule from drowning in the floodwaters of the gigantic New Aswan High Dam. But the massive press coverage of this unprecedented rescue effort completely overlooked the gutsy French archaeologists who made it all happen. Without the intervention of Christian Desroches-Noblecourt, the temples, including the Metropolitan Museum's Temple of Dender, would be at the bottom of a huge reservoir. It was a project of unimaginable size and complexity that required the fragile sandstone temples to be dismantled, stone by stone, and rebuilt on higher ground. A willful, real-life version of Indiana Jones, Desroches-Noblecourt refused to be cowed by anyone or anything. As a member of the French resistance in World War II, she had survived imprisonment by the Nazis. In her fight to save the temple, she defied two of the most daunting leaders of the post-war world, Egyptian President Abdel Nasser and French President Charles de Gaulle. As she told one reporter, "You don't get anywhere without a fight, you know." I like this chick already. Yet, Desroches-Noblecourt was not the only woman who played a crucial role in the endeavor. The other was Jacqueline Kennedy, America's new First Lady, who persuaded her husband to call on Congress to help fund the rescue effort. After a century and a half of Western plunder of Egypt's ancient monuments, Desroches-Noblecourt had done the opposite. She had helped preserve a crucial part of its cultural heritage and, just as important, made sure it remained in its homeland. Fabulous. This looks juicy. I love Egyptology and archaeology. This is going to be good. Now, this is an advanced copy, but I can see some pictures in here, which is nice. I get a little bit of that. Reassembling the Ramses colossi. This is great. Great stuff. I wasn't aware of this at all. This is something completely new to me, and I love it. So, coming out in February. Ooh, another book that I think was sent to me out of the blue. For the good folks at Random House, they threw in this book, and this is coming out in April 4th. But this looks really good. And what a wonderfully, and she's a well-known biographer. Obviously, you're going to know this name as soon as I say it. Has covered a lot of the royals, the British monarchy. This is fantastic. This again, Random House. This is by Sally Bedell Smith. This is George VI and Elizabeth, the marriage that saved the monarchy. And of course, this is just my advanced reading copy. It's not the final copy, but there you have that. Whoops, you don't need to see the back there. Oh, I love it. This handsome couple. Huh? Can't wait to read this. Let me give you a little synopsis about what she's endeavoring to do here. Granted it special access by Queen Elizabeth II to her parents' letters and diaries and to the papers of their close friends and family, Sally Battle Smith brings the love story of this iconic royal couple to vibrant life. This deeply researched and revealing book shows how a loving and devoted marriage helped the king and queen meet the challenges of World War II, lead a nation, solidify the public's faith in the monarchy, and raise their daughters, Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret. When King Edward VIII abdicated the throne in 1936, shattering the crown's reputation, his younger brother, known as Bertie, assumed his father's name and became King George VI. Shy, sensitive, and afflicted with a stutter, George VI had never imagined that he would become king. His wife Elizabeth, a pretty, confident, and outgoing woman who became known later in life as the Queen Mum, strengthened and advised her temperamental husband while simultaneously training the future Queen Elizabeth II, who was educated to lead from an early age and fell in love with Prince Philip at 13. With his wife's support, advice, and love, George VI was able to overcome his insecurities and become an exceptional leader, navigating the country through World War II, establishing a relationship with Winston Churchill, visiting Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt in Washington and in Hyde Park, and inspiring the British people with his courage and compassion during the Blitz. So Sally Battle Smith gives us an inside view of the lives, struggles, hopes, and triumphs of King George VI and Elizabeth during a dramatic time in history. So this is going to be a big book. It runs close to 700 pages. I'm glad to get a review copy. I hope I can be on the list for the final copy, finished copy, so I can see just all the different pictures that they'll have in there and stuff. And I'm going to end on this one. I was really stoked to see this. I have arrived when people are sending me a galley like this. I don't know. That's way in advance. Now, this is the book that finishes up. It's the final book in the trilogy, World War II history, of books that I have on my shelf behind my head. Oh. What could it be? I'll tell you. There is a picture on the front here to show you. But I have the galley, the advanced galley, you guys, of the third and final volume of John C. McManus's trilogy on World War II. And this is To the End of the Earth, the U.S. Army and the Downfall of Japan, 1945. His other two books, let's see if they list those here for me, were, I think, Fire and Fortitude. Fire and Fortitude started the series, and that one is about the U.S. Army in the Pacific War, 1941 to 43. Then the second book in the trilogy is Island Infernos, the U.S. Army's Pacific War Odyssey, 1944. I have those two on the shelf behind me, right next to my little bookworm guy, my little mascot. Those two are right there. And this one completes it. And when is it coming out? Well, obviously next year. I think I would just put it on your notes, on your radar, that it's coming out in early 2023. I don't have the pub sheet for this. They probably haven't even made it yet. So I don't have anything to read to you right now, but it's a good, so far, minus notes, it's close to 380 pages. But this is the concluding volume of his trilogy, John C. McManus. And that's coming out early next year, probably. I'm going to guess March or April. I'm going to say April. It might even be May. The fact that there's not even advance bound copies like this put together yet. I just got the galley. But there's new history on the horizon. Episode number 5 for everyone out there. Let me know what you think of these books. If anything is appealing to you, I always like to know what you guys are interested most in. And anyway, it's always good to talk to you. I'm glad to be back and broadcasting, and expect more videos in the days and weeks and months to come. Until next time, BookTube. Ciao.